Hi, today we are going to be looking at which versus that in our series of Where, When, and Why with guest editor Robin Patchen. Robin, here we go again. Another grammar question. We know people love this. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes and off we go. Tell us, when do we use which versus that?
Okay, so this is one of those things that's sort of hard to explain. So I hope I do well with it. So we use that, the word that, at the beginning of what we call restrictive clauses, meaning that the clause is necessary for the sentence to make sense. If you take that clause out of the sentence, I'm not saying that it's not still a full sentence, but you've taken out the meaning of the sentence, okay? So if it's restricted, then that means you're restricted from removing it. So think of it that way. If you're restricted from,
Okay.
so let me give you an example. A book that I wrote is up for an award. Okay, a book that I wrote is up for an award. So that I wrote is the restrictive clause. Now, if you pull that out, it would say a book is up for an award, which is probably
Doesn't mean the same thing.
mean anything because you're like, well, duh. Like saying some of the grass is green. You're like, yeah, no kidding. Okay, so that is necessary to keep the true meaning of the sentence, even though the sentence still makes sense without it. Okay,
Okay.
so which is used with as I'm sorry, in a non-restrictive clause, meaning you can pull that information out and the heart of the sentence remains. Okay, so for example, the book Redeeming Love, which was written by Francine Rivers, is a reader favorite. So if you take out which was written by Francine Rivers, you have the book Redeeming Love is a reader favorite. It still makes sense, and you still know what they're talking about, right? It's not like the book is a reader favorite. We still know exactly what book it is. Now, somebody might come back and go, "Who's the author on that?" We don't have all the info, but it still makes sense. It still holds on to the heart of the meaning of that.
Okay, so let me just do this one more time. And folks, I have to tell you, Robin has explained this to me more times than, and I still struggle with it. Okay, so restrictive means you are restricted from removing it, and that is that. And what is which? Okay, what's the opposite of restrictive? Non-restrictive. Okay, I was going to say on, and I knew that was wrong. So non-restrictive means we're not restricted. We can toss it and it's okay. So that's kind of the mantra to get in your head to remember. Restricted, you cannot take it out. That is that.
That is which, that is that. Okay, so this is where okay, so that's another thing that's really important to keep in mind here is that when you're using a non-restrictive clause, i.e. a clause that begins with which, you surround it by commas. Okay, so if we a book that I wrote is up for an award, you don't have to put a book comma that I wrote comma. That would be ridiculous. A book that I wrote is up for an award. Okay, but when you're saying a non-restrictive, I'm getting confused. A non-restrictive clause, you need the commas. So Redeeming Love, comma, which was written by Francine Rivers, comma, is a reader favorite. It's the same, Peg, as if you were using an appositive. Remember that term from high school?
Vaguely.
So I would use an appositive to say, the host of that podcast, comma, my friend Pegg Thomas, comma, blah, 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 blah. That's in a positive. It's more information about the thing you're talking about, which is exactly what a which clause is. It's more information, which is written by Francine Rivers. It's more information. So when you have that more information, you use a comma, commas on both sides.
And you're using which.
And we're using which, exactly.
I hope everybody else got it that time. I think I have it this time. And we are at our 5 minute mark. Can you believe it? I told you it went by fast. We have 3 more in this series with grammar with guest Robin Patchen. So catch us again next week. And until then, we're two editors for 5 minutes, and we'll see you next time.